I'd like to welcome everyone this morning, and I want to begin today with Sandy Monfort from Open Gate, who's here to talk about an upcoming session, I believe.
Yes. Mayor, thank you again for the opportunity today to be able to talk about Open Gate. Open Gate will be held as it is the last Tuesday of every month, which will be next Tuesday, June 30th. It'll be the celebration of our third year of Open Gate here in Allen County. We've served at this point just under 1,000 individuals, known individuals locally that have either submitted applications, surveys and such for us to indicate that they were present. We're sure that there were many more, and we're very happy about that. We've also expanded to Hardin County, finishing their second year this month, as well as Auglaize County, which just started in November of 2014. All of this is sponsored by the Mental Health Recovery Services Board, believing in that ability to do outreach, having multiple agencies in one site for our consumers, our customers, our community members to be able to access multiple resources in one site and take that first step. So we're very excited to complete our third year anniversary here in Allen County. Open Gate is the oldest in Allen County. We'll be again here at the Civic Center from 1 to 3 p.m. next Tuesday. In Auglaize County and Hardin County will be in Kenton this Thursday. That's the last Thursday of the month, from 11 to 1. And in Auglaize County, we'll be at the First United Methodist Church once again from 3 to 5 p.m. on Thursday this week as well. So thank you so much for the community support, Mayor. Thank you for the continued support and belief in this outreach of community work. And again, all sponsored by the Mental Health Recovery Services Board. I should say one thing. There have been multiple churches that have assisted this third year to allow us to have a meal for the agencies that come in. Many times they're getting things together over their lunch hour, coming in to be ready to be available for our community at 1. So we've had multiple churches that have spoken and stepped up to allow and support what we're doing. So again, thank you so much for this time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ann. The couple of times that I've been in attendance at Open Gate, I'm always struck by there's a certain genius in the event, in that it's simple, it connects people that don't normally aren't, I guess, getting the newspaper, they aren't tagged into the media, and instead are really at a loss as to where to make connections with community agencies. And it's a simple process where agency representatives stand up, describe their services, and then they connect to people that are looking for services. And I think promoting that as for what it is, which is an open opportunity for people to access those services, is really important. So, and I'm glad to hear it's going to the other counties as well. It's a great way to do that. Also, Doug Durliat's here from Rhodes, and I assume the West Central Ohio Manufacturing Consortium.
Correct. Thank you, Mayor. And this another program with support from the City of Lima through their Community Development Block Grant. We are preparing for our next basic pathway class, which will start July 8th and run through the 31st on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 to 3. Again, we've made some changes. We've adapted to what industry has been saying they need for entry-level employees, so we've incorporated more continuous improvement and quality type of training in this program. The one thing that's really been pleasing to see, we've incorporated a segment on integrated systems troubleshooting. We actually take them out to the campus at Rhodes State College, and we spend a couple of hours where we set up some troubleshooting with an actual integrated systems machine that you actually would see if you're taking credit courses at Rhodes State College. And the idea is just to get their appetite whet of the kind of technology that you could be interfacing with in a manufacturing job, and perhaps get them excited enough to pursue a certificate or degree in this, because integrated systems maintenance is very in demand. If you look at the job ads, look at websites, anywhere where they're posting job for help wanted, If you've got maintenance skills, you could just about pick where you can work. And we're not saying you're going to be proficient after this, but it gives you a taste of just what kind of world you have out there and what you get trained for in manufacturing. Again, thanks to the grant, we offer this at no cost. To register, just call me at my office. The information's on a flyer or the news release in the back of the room. And also on the subject of free training, we're having another round of iStar training. This is where persons meeting qualifications, they must be unemployed because you're dedicating full-time hours to taking school and then the on-the-job training which follows. This is training you to be a software engineer or a computer systems analyst. And again, if you meet the guidelines, free books, free tuition, and other costs. And it's for 16 weeks, followed by another 18 weeks of on-the-job paid training. And you pick up a few certificates along the way. You become an international computer driver's license holder. Also, you could be certified as a Microsoft Technical Associate or an Oracle Certified Assistant. And you can also parlay the coursework here toward a degree at Rhodes State College. You'll get credit for that, and that can be applied toward a degree at Rhodes State College. And again, this is at no cost. Qualified persons, just give the Rhodes State College admissions office a call. There is a pre-screening, a pre-qualification involved before the courses begin in August, but you have time to register and take advantage of this program.
How many slots are available in each?
We can handle up to 15 in the basic pathway and 10 to 15 in the iStar program. This is actually offered at the same time through distance education with a number of other colleges, Terra Tech at Fremont and Northwest State Community College up at Archbold. A lot of this is through distance ed programs.
And somebody who actually gets into, you mentioned the integrated systems technology, if somebody is trained up in that field, what's the expected range of salary opportunity?
If you're an integrated systems maintenance person, the hourly wage starts in the 20s in most of the places, and they can go up from there just depending on the company and the involvement you have.
And how about with the other opportunity with iStar?
I'm not sure just what the salary range is on that. I'm not as involved with it as I am with the manufacturing jobs. So.
But they're obviously good paying jobs.
Right. As in
careers.
And you're dealing with working with technology, and if you've got the latest skills in technology, you know, you've got the best chance of cracking the job market.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Doug. Great opportunities. We hope people will pay attention and sign up. I have a couple of things to mention. One is that I'm just returned from the U.S. Conference of Mayors annual meeting, which was held in San Francisco the last several days. And I was very pleased to be able to pick up an award on behalf of the city. A couple of months ago, there was an email solicitation from the conference inviting cities from around the country to apply for both recognition as well as a grant opportunity from the Wells Fargo Foundation, and specifically for work in community development and with neighborhoods. And so my own reaction at the time was, well, we don't have a Wells Fargo bank here, so it's unlikely that we'll qualify, because I presume they'll want to spend their money in those communities where they have a presence. But I encouraged folks in the Department of Community Development to make the application, and they did. And lo and behold, we were in fact awarded, this weighs about 50 pounds, I think. This is a very nice award from the Wells Fargo Foundation, and along with it is a $50,000 check, which will be for the benefit of Lima Allen County Neighborhoods in Partnership. And it is for the Outstanding Achievement category for small cities. And really a very nice award, and it, I think, says a lot about the the work that the Department of Community Development, that our neighborhood volunteers are doing. When you can compete nationally, I think there were in excess of 150 communities that applied, and we were, I think, one of about 8 communities that ended up being selected for an award. So as I mentioned, the check will be written to the benefit of LACNIP and their activities, and we're very grateful for that. Next item that I want to discuss is my letter to Lima City Council and to the Civil Service Board that was received on Monday evening concerning the complete list rule, which I have requested. I want to provide a little bit of background to this. First of all, for those that aren't aware, the civil service process is required under the city's charter. And so we have a independent board, the Civil Service Board, that administers tests on behalf of any hiring that's done for the administration. And that board develops the tests, they administer the tests, they grade the tests, and ultimately they publish to us a list of those individuals who have passed the test and meet the qualifications required in any job. For years, the rule that guided that process was called the Rule of Three, which meant that for the administration, if we had 100 applicants for a given position and we had 3 positions that were open, we would have the opportunity to interview 3 persons for each open position. So we have 3 positions open, that means 3 times 3, which means 9. So 100 people pass the test, we have the opportunity as an administration to talk to 9 at the top of the list based upon how the Civil Service Board graded those tests. That meant that 91 individuals passed the test and that we could not consider. In fact, the administration didn't even know who they were. It's a blind process to us. Then in 2000, and that was the way the system worked for 50, 60 years. Then in 2012, the rule was changed to what's called a rule of 10. So rather than just being able to talk to 9, if we had 3 open positions, we'd have the opportunity to talk to 30, 3 times 10. That still meant that 70 individuals passed the test that we never got to talk to under the rules. And you can imagine what the consequences are of that, because we've lived with those consequences. You have a majority of people taking civil service tests who pass the test that feel they've just wasted their time because they couldn't even get an interview. They couldn't be considered. So back in December, the 7th Ward Councilor Ann Miles asked on the floor of council that we develop some new ideas for how we could improve the ability of the city to hire and particularly hire African American individuals for city positions. And we know what we've been doing for years, which is an aggressive outreach in the community. Folks like Warren Pugsley, Chris Jackson, and others would assist the HR department and sometimes civil service board members like Jackie Tyree in community outreach, trainings, all those kinds of things. And with very limited, frustrating results. So it's time for us to do something different. And in December, I wrote my first memo to council asking them to consider what I called then a pass-fail rule. Now I'm calling a complete list rule because it actually is a much more informative name. And I want to read to you the memo that I have, that council received on Monday night. And this went to the full council and to the full civil service board. It's entitled Opportunity to Improve Civil Service Hiring Process, Second Request. Nearly 6 months ago, on December 30th, 2014, I wrote to you following a public call by 7th Ward Councilor Ann Miles for new ideas regarding methods for attracting and hiring minority candidates for city positions. And I attached a copy of my December memo. In my memo, I asked the Civil Service Board and the Lima City Council to immediately adopt a simple pass-fail rule, now renamed the complete list rule, to establish qualified candidates. At the City Council meeting on January 5th, 2015, 3rd Ward Councilor Lowe demanded the opportunity for a full discussion of the proposal, and I agreed that it should be discussed thoroughly. The matter was referred to the Human Resources Committee, chaired by Mr. Lowe. Since that time and as of this date, both the HR Committee and the Civil Service Board have met several times and discussed many proposals, but neither the HR Committee nor the Civil Service Board has brought any proposal to Council for consideration. I am now writing to reiterate my request that both the Civil Service Board and Lima City Council act immediately to adopt a rule that will permit the administration to consider the complete list of all candidates who pass the civil service exams for entry positions. Please note, I am not asking that the standards be changed. I am not asking that the testing methods be changed. I'm not asking that the Civil Service Board change their review process. I am asking that the administration be given the authority to evaluate and consider the complete list of candidates who passed the test administered by the Civil Service Board. The city's hiring process for more than the past half-century has been to limit considerations to a small number of candidates who pass the test, with the vast majority of qualified candidates being left unconsidered, unevaluated, and for the most part unknown to the administration. These decades of practice have created the negative rumor mill surrounding city hiring, with folks saying, it's not worth my time to take the test because I won't be considered or I won't get an interview. The rules of the civil service process have created these circumstances, and it's time to change those rules. Anything less than the adoption of a complete list rule shortchanges our community and will not be acceptable. Please act immediately. My purpose today is not only to give you the background to read this memo, but also to invite the public. Those in the public who believe that everything is the way it ought to be, they ought to express that opinion. But those that in fact believe that the city needs to do something different need to be in touch with the Civil Service Board and with city council members and express their opinions on this. The way in which these rules get changed is with an action first by the Civil Service Board and then by City Council. So the place that this input ought to be provided first is in that order. Feedback ought to be given to the Civil Service Board and then to Council. Both of them need to act affirmatively. This is not difficult. They can do it quickly. I am going to be posting at the city's website a copy of this memo along with a copy of the contact information for both the Civil Service Board and for City Council. And so folks will have the opportunity to go there probably tomorrow before we get it posted, and they'll have the opportunity to see how to go about contacting those individuals. This is an important change. I believe it'll be a change that will accomplish what has been attempted by many, many administrations over the years, and no one has yet solved it. It's because we've been encumbered with a set of rules. I don't know of another organization in our community hampered by this kind of a rule in hiring. When you can basically be limited to a small fraction of the candidates rather than the entirety of your applicants in terms of who you get to consider, how do you expect ultimately to choose the best? So I'm asking the public to engage. I believe it's something that is well worth time and consideration. And again, we'll have that information posted at the city's website certainly by tomorrow. Any questions? Okay. Thank you all. We'll break down for interviews.